Hi, my name is Morgan McLean, and I'm going to present my research articles notebook for exceptional children in a regular classroom. My 5 articles that I'm choosing to present are Classroom Strategies for Traumatized Oppositional Students by Mary Ellen Fesker. The next article is Incidental Learning for Children with Deafblindness by L. Kathleen Sheriff and Tracy L. Halleck. The next article is Pushing Back Against High Stakes for Students with Disabilities by Bianca Tanis. The fourth article is Straight from the Recycling Bin by Linda Hilgenbrink. And the final article is Toddler on the Road by Marshall Balick and Megan Jepson. The first article, containing classroom strategies for traumatized and oppositional students, talks about how several students that come into a class are traumatized by some kind of life event, and students must cater to that child's needs. They need to have predictability in the classroom, they need to have some kind of structure, and they also need to feel the comfort and like the classroom is secure and a safe place. These students have had some big life event that has traumatized them, and they don't like stepping out of their comfort zone, so you need to make the classroom a comfort zone for them. Some things to make sure to include is to build frequent movement and rhythm and breaks in the classroom, to provide choices whenever you can, because the children that are traumatized often want to feel like they are in control in some way. Also, breaking assignments into manageable segments helps them often. Maintaining a calm and confident demeanor as a teacher help them feel secure. Building structure, like I said, predictability, anything like that helps them feel comfortable and secure in the classroom, which is what ultimately you need to build that trust and security in those traumatized students. Mary Ellen Fesker did a phenomenal job writing this article. We often don't think about those children that are traumatized being in class and how you need to cater to their needs, but you do as a teacher, because like I said, they need that comfort and security. She did a great job putting this all into words so that teachers can see this, and I do feel that this is an article that any teacher that has traumatized students should look into reading. The next article is the Incidental Learning for Children with Deafblindness, and this is an article that discusses children who have deafblindness that don't get that incidental learning like children that don't have deafblindness. Incidental learning just comes from observing, whether it's with your hearing or your eyes, making eye contact, facial expressions. Deafblindness children cannot do so. So they have to learn incidental in other ways. Parents have a huge impact on their lives because they know them the best. They must find different ways to help them learn incidentally. Making a play space is a huge help in this. When they have a play space, they know that that is what that place is for. So they start filling around. They need lots of toys in there, just objects, and plenty of space to explore. This will help them know that that is their play space, so they can learn incidental. When they have places and time to explore, then they can learn incidental without having to use their eyesight and hearing that they lack. The article was very well written and explained children with deafblindness extremely well. That's something that people don't think about often, is deafblindness, and how most children do get to learn incidentally, but these children can't without the assistance of some kind of adult, whether it be a parent or a caregiver, because they don't have that ability. Anybody that has children or no children with deafblindness need to read this article so that they can better understand the children. The next article is Pushing Back Against High Stakes for Students with Disabilities. This article is written by a mom and a special education teacher. She has 2 sons that are on the autism spectrum, and she also teaches special needs. She discovered once she started teaching that all students take the end of the year standardized testing. She didn't agree with this. Her students were 2, 3, 4 years behind their grade level and were having to take the test that the students that were on their grade level were having to take. There were very few accommodations they would get extra time. They would also have a quieter workplace, but no accommodations on the test, like some answers marked off, nothing like that. So she took her stand and wouldn't allow her son to take the test, which made her form an advocacy group of parents that are like her that were also special education teachers, and they ended up getting to have the test 2 grade levels behind. So if they're in 4th grade, they get to take the 2nd grade test, which helps ultimately. Her goal eventually is to make them not have to take the test at all or to have major accommodations, but this is a start, and she was very pleased with this. This article was extremely well written. Bianca Tanis did a great job putting her feelings and concerns into words. She explained exactly the issue and got to the root of the problem. Anybody that has children that are on the autism spectrum or just has a disability needs to read this, and hopefully they'll take a stand as well if their children is having to take the end of the year standardized testing. The next article is straight from the recycling bin. It's called A Paper Ball Activity, and this article is about a special education teacher who also does PE with students who have disabilities. So she had to accommodate both students who did not have a disability and students that did. So she decided to come up with an activity that didn't require sports or, volleyball, basketball, football. So she came up with not only a cost-effective activity, but also a physical education activity. She got paper and all the students sat down in a circle. They would place the paper in a circle around them. The object was to reach across their body, use their arm and reach across their body and grab the paper and try to ball it up with one hand. She would encourage them to. Some of them were missing limbs or just didn't have the strength in their hands, so she didn't make them, but she encouraged them to try to start balling it up with one hand at first. And then after they had done they did all like 5 or 10 pieces of paper around them to make them into paper balls, they would have an activity of choice, whether it be a quote-unquote snowball fight or whatever the activity was they got to choose. But it wasn't anything too much that caused or that you had to have. It was all disability friendly, so they didn't have to run or they didn't have to do anything strenuous, but it was an activity that was strategic and helped them use their brain. I really enjoyed this article, and I feel that they did a great job writing this article. She explained, as a physical education teacher, how accommodating both the children with disabilities and accommodating those who don't have disabilities is a hard thing to do, especially to find an activity that they both enjoy. And Linda Hilgenbrink did a good job at this. And physical education teachers who have to accommodate both children with disabilities and children with non-disabilities should consider reading this and taking this activity into consideration. The final article that I did was Toddler on the Road. It is a couple who has a daughter that's a toddler. She is 2 and they're now expecting another child. And they actually own a Montessori materials business. And with this business, they have to travel about half of the year. They decided to raise their daughter Montessori style and stem off of ideas. For example, they let her choose what she eats and when she eats, how much she eats, which lots of people frown upon, especially in public, but they feel that this is the best for their child, and they have followed through with it. Another way is that one day when they were in a hotel room, the daughter found out how to open the entire 250 count Q-tip container and spilled them everywhere. Instead of disciplining her, they improvised, and the mom found a yogurt container and poked holes in it, and had the daughter picked every single Q-tip up by pushing it through the hole of the in the lid of the yogurt container. And this is something they feel like is a Montessori idea. It helps get ready for Montessori school whenever she's old enough to attend, and they just feel that this is the lifestyle that suits them best. They, as parents, did a great job writing this article, and it helps those who are considering raising their children with Montessori ideas in a Montessori style. It helps them, and any parent that is considering it should definitely read this article. Overall, it was a very good read. I enjoyed getting to read these articles and taking this course. Thanks.